So I purchased the Insta360 Luma Ultra, which is the display is on this thing right now. I took it with me to AWE 2026, which was just a couple of days ago, and this happened. This is definitely going in my 30-day review. Right, because the one time you decide to use, because everybody's been promoting this camera as what it is, you know, it's so great, but you just never know when this might happen. Well, just like a lot of you, I saw this camera being promoted everywhere, and I immediately, as soon as it became available on Amazon, I immediately went and purchased one. While the camera was waiting to ship, I started having a little bit of a buyer's remorse, because I was like, I already have the Pocket 3, the camera is great, I don't even know why I'm buying this. Maybe I got, you know, overly hyped because of the, you know, removable display. And I was like, man, I have so much accessories that I've bought for the Pocket 3. Either I bought it or I 3D printed it, and I just thought about it. I was like, does it make sense to actually invest a whole bunch more into the Luma Ultra when I already have a camera that is very capable? And I absolutely love my DJI Pocket 3. So while thinking about that, I was having buyer's remorse. I immediately went on Amazon to cancel my order, but it was too late to, well, actually it wasn't too late to cancel, but for some reason I got an email from Amazon later on saying that my order cannot be canceled, so it shipped the very next day, which was okay, all right. This is the second time something like this has happened to me, but it was no problem for me. I was like, oh well, maybe I guess I'll just try the camera out. If I like it, I keep it. If I don't, I just return it. Amazon makes a very good, makes it very easy to return a product. Well, I got a camera and I started using it, and I absolutely fell in love. I was like, there is absolutely no way I'm returning it. I am keeping this camera. There is so many things it can do. I did not buy this camera primarily for the zoom. I bought it mainly because of this right here, which I have on this 3D printed hand mount thing. I'm gonna link. Somebody designed this. I'm not sure who designed it, but this thing is great. It helps you hold the camera better. Anyway, I started using the camera. I connected to my DJI Mic Air, which is what I'm using right now. I didn't feel like buying the Mic Pro because I have way too many microphones that can record 32-bit log. Whenever I have this camera, I just want to do a quick point of shoot, so I didn't really care about the 32-bit. The 24-bit is perfect enough. Anyway, the more I use the camera, the more I start to see some of its flaws. There are a lot about this camera that is very similar to the current DJI Pocket 3. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Insta360 copied so much out of the Pocket 3. I even mentioned it in my tips and tricks video. By the way, if you want to see a comprehensive tips and tricks for this camera that you might not find anywhere, you should absolutely watch the video. But anyway, there is so much that Insta360 copied from DJI, but all these companies copy each other anyway. You know, Insta360 is known for their 360 camera. Guess what? DJI went and decided, you know what, we want to do 360 as well. They copied. If you go into DJI software for the 360, there's a lot of copying of the Insta360. And then Insta360 had a sub brand that came out with a 360 drone. Guess what? DJI also went and created their own 360 drones. So needless to say, all these companies copy each other. It really doesn't matter as long as we, the consumers, are winning. And personally, I am winning because I love DJI and I love Insta360. This is not one of those situations where I love one more than the other. I've always had Insta360 cameras all the way from X1, and I've always had DJI drones. For as long as I can remember, I've always had at least one DJI drones. Most of the time I have 2 or 3 DJI drones. So I love each company's either equally. But anyways, the more I started to use this Luna Ultra, the more I started to realize that in some ways it's not polished. It's not as polished as the DJI, but that's also because the DJI has had a long time in the game. You know, they've had a Pocket, then they had the Pocket 3, I mean, they had the Pocket 2. I don't know if they had the Pocket 1, but they had the Pocket 2 and they had the Pocket 3, and now they're on the Pocket 4 and 4 Pro. So they've had quite a bit of time, and this is Insta360's first camera. Now, being that it is their first camera, they have done quite a lot right, but at the same time, they've also had enough time to take a look at what DJI is doing to sort of polish their app. I absolutely love this camera, and this is my new camera from now on. So all the things, all the flaws that I'm gonna mention does not deter me from still using this camera. I absolutely love it, and I'm gonna keep on using it. My Pocket 3 now, I'm probably gonna sell it because I don't have a need for that camera. But the thing that surprised me with the video quality is, while this one has a better video quality for sure, the Pocket, it's not so far from the Pocket 3 that I will feel like most people who have Pocket 3 should justify going to purchase this camera, unless you really want this feature right here, because this thing is a killer feature. If you don't really care for this as much, I would say just keep your Pocket 3 and either go into the, wait for Insta360 to come out with a newer camera, because this is their first iteration, or just get the DJI Pocket 4P. But then again, Pocket 4P is very similar to this, so personally I would just always go for this because of that external display. But if you don't have the money, don't go ahead and get another camera, because if you do get another camera, you're gonna have to invest in a bunch of filters, accessories, and it really adds up. For me, I can justify it a little bit because I'm a content creator, and this thing will eventually pay itself off with all my video content. But if you're not doing that, if you're not making that money back, I would say don't get it. And then there's quite a few bugs. The biggest one for me was what I just showed you guys. So I've been using this camera like this for a while now, and I often disconnect the display. It's the #1 reason why I get this camera. Well, at the AW event, I met a few other YouTubers, and I wanted to take a picture with them. We were looking for somebody to take a picture for us, but we couldn't find it, so we decided we're gonna, I had this camera, and everybody was like, oh, okay, you have this camera that just came out. Why not just detach the screen and use it to take a group picture or a group video? This would have been perfect, right? Guess what? The one time I needed it, it does not work. Whenever I remove the display, it would not connect. I tried it over and over to the point where everybody was just like, all right, let's just do something else, because it didn't work. And I was so disappointed, because I sort of been looking for, it felt like it just disappointed in the one time we really needed it the most. And these are some of the bugs that you might have to deal with. Now, most times, honestly, that was my very first time having connection issues. Since then, that was just 2 days ago. Since then, there's been 2 more updates, and recently today, I also disconnected the display in my backyard, which I had no problems before, and I was getting weak signal issues. But the video was not affected. It's just that I was getting weak signal issues on the camera, which is amazing, because there are times where I would take this camera and I would ride pretty far. For example, let me track myself. So I have my thing right now, and I would go far back, and this thing still stays connected. Like, this is already farther than I was in my backyard when I started getting weak signal issues. I like the fact that it has a zoom capability. It can track me. It can do so much, but every now and then the bugs just remind you that this is the first generation camera. Another big thing that I struggle with, or another big issue for me, is that when I connect the app, right, so that I can get a bigger display, bigger preview of what I'm seeing, as soon as I connect the app and I'm looking at everything through my app display, all the buttons becomes disabled. I don't know why. That is so annoying, because if I want to adjust the gimbal, I can't do it from here. I have to go into the phone, and with the phone, the gimbal adjustment is just not smooth at all. You have to do everything through the app. Makes no sense at all, because with the DJI, you can have your phone as a preview, and you can still quickly toggle or make an adjustment right on the camera itself. But with this, it disables it.
One of the reasons why it matters is, for example, I have the preview right here on the screen, right? Well, if I want to use one of the Leica filters, or if I want to use log or Dolby Vision, I can't get to it, and there is no option in the phone to get to it. So the only other way that I can get to those log profile or whatever it is, any kind of profile or picture, the only way to get to it would be to exit the app. So close the app, and even when I close the app, it still shows connected, and I've swiped away, but it still shows connected. So once you go back to preview, now you can get into the filters and all this stuff, which is, so now if I change the filter and now I have to go back into the app and redo the connection, that's just too much steps. We need to be able to have access to the touch screen when we are connected to the phone.
The second thing is profiles. In one of the videos, I gave a tips and tricks on how to store your settings. I wish it would be native in the app, because right now, even that profile workaround still does not save your frames per second. For example, if I like to shoot 4K 30, which is what I'm shooting right now, or 4K 25 or 4K 120, I want to be able to set that as a preset. We don't have that option. When I record, I don't have the option to press and hold to cancel. At AWE, I ended up recording a whole lot of videos that I didn't need because there was just no way to cancel the recording. Another big problem that I realized about this camera is if you let it sit for a while and you decided you want to grab the camera and quickly turn it on to record a video, sometimes it seems like it goes into like a deep sleep where it would take some time to wake up. So if you're outdoors and you wanted to quickly capture something, you might end up missing it because the camera was in a deep sleep mode. I have used this camera for interview because the display is smaller. While it is nice that you can actually preview everything with this display right here, the display is smaller, so sometimes you don't have that focus perception. So if you needed to quickly capture something, you might find that if you, for example, if you're doing an interview like I was in a focus, but the guy that I was interviewing, who happens to be Ralph, the GM, the general manager of X-Reel, he was not in focus. So the whole interview it looks very amateur-ish because it was like a really impromptu type of interview. I didn't really have much time to set up. I just ran into him and I asked him if I could ask him a few questions. He said, sure, let's go into the room. So there was no time to really, plan or get my exposure right or get my focus. I just had to quickly do a point and shoot video, but it wasn't until afterwards that I realized he wasn't in focus. Now, this is not something that I've ever had issues with the Pocket 3. But once again, these are things that can be easily fixed with software. I just hope that somebody from Insta360 crew is trying the camera thoroughly and experiences this type of issue, that way they can fix it, or maybe somebody comes across my video and fix it. Once again, I really love this camera. I love so much about it. I would say the color profiles, it takes some fine-tuning for sure. As a black man, dark-skinned person myself, I do find that the Pocket 3, like my complexion looks better on the Pocket 3 compared to the Luna Ultra. I don't know why, but it's just, I don't know why, I'm also gonna share the profile sharing on the screen. I don't know why a lot of YouTubers are not doing it. There is this profile sharing thing where you can actually put your QR code on the screen and anybody watching can easily scan it and now use the same profile that you're watching. More YouTubers need to start using that feature, because a lot of us who watch their videos, we sort of see sometimes a picture and we're like, oh man, that looks really good. How can I get there? Now, if you just share your QR code, we can scan it. That's something that's also unique to the Luna series cameras. Once again, this thing captures beautiful videos and pictures, but you do have to fine tune it and you do have to deal with a little bit of bugs. Now, another thing that I really love about this camera is the zoom capabilities. I did not buy this camera to have zoom capabilities, but now that I have the zoom capabilities, oh my God, the image is very sharp. When I zoom in 6, even sometimes when I zoom in a little past that 6, it's still very sharp depending on what I'm looking at. I am absolutely impressed with this camera. But if you are somebody who's just getting into the pocket cameras, these are things that you need to know, because everybody's been hyping this camera, talk about how beautiful the pictures look, talk about the ease of use of this. I have not seen, maybe no one is dealing with their connection issues that I am dealing with, but it is something that you should know, because that could be a problem. But anyway, guys, if you want one of these cameras, there's going to be a link in the description. I would appreciate if you use my link, because the Amazon affiliate link does help support me, and it can help me repay this camera. But once again, thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. If you need that tips and tricks, make sure you watch this video right here. Peace.